Okay, in this video we're going to check out the Gauntlet fairing that I picked up. Supposedly it fits, supposedly it doesn't fit. It depends on who you talk to. Most recent person I spoke with has a 2009 custom, and he said it bolted right on, so we shall see. So let me get to the unboxing here, if I can get you a right angle to see. There we go, and show you what we got here. Okay. The LED signal lights I was going to install today for today's video, unfortunately, my internet's down. It's been down for a while. It's probably going to be down until 7 o'clock tonight, according to Optimum, worst freaking company in the world. And that's the best they can do. All right, so this is what we got. It's called a Gauntlet fairing. So let me get a clean pair of gloves for my mitts so I don't get any handprints on them. I don't want to get any oils or anything on in case I decide to actually have it painted. Unless you have, the better, even though they do wipe it down. All right, let's see what we got here. The cellophane off. I would cut it, but if you cut it, and you run a risk of actually cutting the plastic, which I don't want to do because it is ABS. The finish looks pretty nice on it. Not bad at all. Let's see that finish. Boy, if this was a black bike, I think that would be a perfect match, to be honest with you. I think that match would be beautiful. What we got here? Get this finished here. A couple more cranks around and it'll be off. Let's bust that off. Probably should have done that sooner to make it smaller. Would have gone quicker, I assume. Come on. Doing here. Yeah, okay. Not cooperating. There we go. Now we got it. Oh, they did two different pieces on there. They wound it two different ways just to screw with us. Okay. And we're just going to rip the rest. There we go. And that's off. So that's what it looks like. Right there. So, not a bad looking little fairing. Main thing is that it blocks some of the wind. See where we're at here. Alright, I'm going to reposition you. Let's bring you over here now. Tip this up so you can see what I'm doing. Put that like that. It's pretty good. Let me throw the overhead light back on because it is on auto. Turns off when it wants to turn off. There we go. All right, let's see how this looks. Okay. All right, looks like the reason they say it won't fit maybe because of the trim ring for the headlight. So we may have to notch the bottom up in here. If you can see that, notch that to get around the trim ring. So, but that may be what they're talking about. I won't know for sure until I get the hardware out. And we see on the hardware what needs to be done. So let's move this up out of the way. And we'll get the hardware. Now this is basically, I believe that this is a copy of the Memphis Shades Gauntlet. I think they actually did a direct copy of it. From what I can see, pictures-wise, this is what I believe it is. So, let me get a razor blade here. We'll see where we're at. And we'll see what this hardware looks like. Should be 4 brackets. Well, they really wrapped it good. Look at that. Looks like a kilo of cocaine. Yeah. Razor blade that, cut that again. But it's the clamps that go on the front forks look exactly like the quick detach hardware that I had for my Memphis shades on my Nightster when I had it. And that was the windshields, and it looks exactly the same other than like the brackets to the fairing, which do look a little bit different. So you see you've got 4 clamps where it pushes on and locks in. They each go on the forks. Let's see what we got here. That's the 4 clamps. Here's a bag of hardware. That's for putting the fairing together. And then you have these trigger lock brackets. Yeah, this stuff looks dead like, look at that, trigger lock. Okay. Pivots up. So this looks dead like the Memphis shade stuff, I gotta say. I'll dig out my Memphis shades, I could show you guys. I don't know where the heck I put the leftover brackets I have. So that's going to be this side. This one's going to be this side, and then they pop down on the clamps that you have to install. So, all right. So our next order of business is going to be putting the fairing together. Let me get the bag of hardware. Put the brackets here. So I'm going to stop it there. We're going to reposition, go outside, and put the fairing itself together. All right, the directions are lacking big time on this. Came really with no information, so I'm just gonna guess as I go along. All right, first thing I'm gonna start with is these like rubber O-rings, I guess, or plugs you want to call them. And I believe these go through the fairing like this. Get them lined up. I'll get one in, I'll show you what I'm talking about if you can't quite see it on the video here. Like that right there. Okay, you see it from the back side. So that's one. Let's get these in. And work that through. There we go. That's 2. Flip it around. We'll get to 3. Very flexible, so they're not really that hard to pop in. I have the small screwdriver just in case one of them gives me a problem, like this one is. There we go. That's it through. There we go. And then number 4. And I'm pulling it up like that to get the edge started. Once we get that edge started, pretty much pops in. This. Come on. There you go. Okay. And as you can see, that's how they look. All 4 are in. So the next order of business is this bracket here. And again, they don't give much in the way of directions. It's a washer. Goes through. I'm not seeing a lot. It's showing a lock washer, but their lock washer is so big that they give you. It's like, it's crazy. So instead of a lock washer, I think we're going to be using Loctite, which, as I always tell you, works for everything. All right, so these are these pieces here, and then what they do is they pop in like that. They stick through the back, and then your bracket goes on, and then you bolt it down. So let me find what we got. I'm sure it's metric, probably 8 or 9 millimeter. I don't think it's 10. It could be, but it doesn't look. Let's see. It is a 10, in fact. Yes. So we want the 1/4 inch. And get my 1/4 inch ratchet here. Again, there will be some Loctite, and you don't want to kill these. You don't want to over tighten them. So 10 millimeter fits perfect. As I said, I'll get the blue Loctite together. Let me get another one of those plugs. But I don't want to Loctite this until I have it actually on the bike and adjust it. So for now, we're just going to put them in loose. Snug but loose, let's put it that way. It's not going to be super tight, but they are going to be on there. All right, let's see. This is the top. Let's see if this is this side here, I believe. It should be. So I don't think. Yeah, see? Goes like that right there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to at least get this on, get a bolt in it, just to get it started. As I said, they're going to end up getting Loctite on them. You can see what I'm doing here. Just running a bolt in, just to get it started. Now they are keyed, so it fits through. And actually, I'll show you. Let me set that down real quick. You can see how that's keyed. All right, so it's only going to go through that bracket one way. So we'll come up through, pivot it, and there it is in the bracket. But you see why I'm not tightening it down. You see you have up-down movement. Hopefully you guys can see that. So, all right, let's get this one started. Tight quarters. And like I said, they are aluminum, so you don't want to strip them. You don't want to go overly tight anyway. So you just want to be in your keyed position to help hold them in place. I think I can get, yeah, I can get a ratchet in there. So it's going to be a 10 millimeter wrench to do this job anyway. So, and then this one here, just going to run them in finger tight is all I want. Okay? And that gives me movement back up and down, which is what you want. So that's one side. You see how that's on there. Get the other side positioned. Let me put this away. I'm going to grab a 10 millimeter wrench anyway, just so it's not moving around too much while I'm trying to put it together. Alright, let's get 10 millimeter wrench. Oh, there it is, 10 millimeter. So that's a 10 millimeter, and then we'll get the rest of this hardware putting the brackets on. That's that. And we'll get this other side bracket on. And we should be in business. So I'm going to set this here. Check the wrench real quick. That's it. Just a little. Don't want it moving too much, you know, while we're trying to get everything lined up. All right, so next one goes through. Pivot it so it's ready to lock. The holes do have quite a bit of play. So put this bracket in place. And then the same thing again. Get the nut and washer started. I thought I had one ready, but I guess I didn't. Well, once you get it started, then you can spin it to where it's lined up for the key the way it's got to be. There we go, like that right there. Run in a few more turns. That's that one. And then the same thing again, pop it through. Make sure it's straight up and down. And we'll get a washer and the 10 millimeter bolt here. And we'll get this started. Let's see, running that down. And I'm gonna I'm going to adjust them all the way to the top for now, and then we can go from there where the positioning has to be. And again, just snug it, don't kill it. That's all we want to do for now. Make sure this one is all the way to the top. And we'll run that down. That's good. That's good. Okay. So now the brackets are on. So the next step is going to be putting on the fork brackets. Now once we get those in place, then we can see where we're at. Okay. I'll shut you down for now while I reposition. Okay, upon further inspection, I just checked to see where the fitment was. This is definitely going to have to be notched for this year to clear the headlight. So it clears the trim ring, the screw for it. So I'm going to have to notch this here. So I'm going to notch it. I'll let you know what tools I use when I get back, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'm going to show you the progress I've made so far. So you can see that right there. I cut a U-notch out of the bottom of the bucket that goes around the headlight, the surround. So we're going to take it over here, and I'll show you how it fits now. So this way we can get to the brackets. Let me adjust you up here so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so the U-notch now goes up underneath. Plenty of room for the fairing to sit back and contact the clamps that you need to contact. So that's probably the reason why they say this doesn't fit. But once I made that notch, I can now slip it on and off without a problem. So next step is going to be the brackets, and we'll go from there. Another thing I found is these clamps. Okay, these are actually what goes around the fork. This goes to the outside, okay? And the way they slide together and clamp down. Problem is, this metal, I've already put some oil on there to make them come apart, but when you first get it, it's going to be extremely tight. So I'm about to add a little bit of white lithium grease to it, and I'm hoping that that's going to work a little bit better than basically what it is. It's throttle cable, clutch oil from Harley that I put on there. So I'm just going to put a dab of the lithium grease and hope that makes them move easier, because, you know, once you get it in place, it's a pain in the butt. So, see, that's sliding nice now. So I got to do that with all four to make it easier for assembly. So I have one that's still extremely tight. See, like this here, this one's coming, but it's still extremely tight. So I'll put some lithium on that, and we'll see how that one works. Hopefully, a little bit of lithium on each side of it. Yeah, see, that one's a bit of a pain in the backside. Doesn't want to go out the bottom of the clamp. Hey, it's going better that way, but it won't come out through the top here, which is, you know, you really want it to go both ways, you know? So, sliding much easier, but it's still not 100% of what it needs to be. So, that's that one. Let's go on to the next one here. This one's moving a little bit easier. This one just came apart with just oil on it. So let me put some lithium on this one. And then I have one more that's really a bear. Of course, we'll wipe these down and clean them. But see, that one's sliding nice in both directions, which is what you want. Now I have one more here that's just not, see, this doesn't even want to slide, doesn't want to come apart. There it goes, starting a little bit. So I got to get some of that grease down in there if I can, and then we'll try to get it to slide better. And then, in which case, when it comes time, I'm getting about ready to put it onto the forks. I don't want to have issues sliding this back and forth on there to get it up onto the fork. There we go. That freed it up. See? That freed that one up nicely. The other one is still tight coming out the top, but it is what it is. All right. I'll see you when we're ready to put clamps on. Okay. You can see I got one of the clamps slid around. It is going to be the second notch on the clamp. I'll show you that in one brief instant. Try to get this to where we can see. If I can maybe turn this a little bit and bring it towards us like that. Okay. So the second notch, once it's snugged down, it's not going to move. So we'll show you here. Right now that's on the first notch. It's got to go to the second notch is where it's got to be. Okay. This one looks like it could give me some trouble. Get it lined up here. I'm going to have to put a little bit of grease in that slide there so it'll go. There we go. Put a little bit of grease in that. Okay. Like I said, just a smear of lithium, just enough to make it so this aluminum slides against itself. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, so there's the next one. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me see where I'm at camera-wise. Okay, so basically one side goes on like that, and then your other one's going to go on and slide up into it. Like that right there. Okay? That went actually pretty nice. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start the Allen head screws that came with it. Of course, these have no blue Loctite on them yet. It's just a matter of getting it into place where we need it to be so we can line up the brackets for the fairing. You want it snug but not tight because you still need to be able to move these around. Now let's get this other one started here. Get a screw started in that. And the best thing is, like I said, we can get the blue Loctite can go in from behind, so you don't have to unscrew it all the way. You know, when you're putting it together, you can just put the dab in through the back here, and that will prevent it from really moving out of place. You're just going to loosen it a little bit, pop the blue Loctite, snug it back down. And again, you're not killing them. So, let's see how our picture's looking here. You can see those clamps are on. Again, we're going to have to slide these for the bracket, for the fairing itself. So now we're going to move around. We'll get the other side started. Let's see, is that a good angle? Yeah, that should work for you. Like I said, I try to do these videos to make it easy so when you guys get it or you purchase the same stuff that I'm purchasing, you can see how easy it is to actually do it. Let's see if I can crank this up a little. I forgot that this piece moves. And we'll bring it up some. Like that right there. Okay, let's get another clamp started. Hopefully these should all slide into place like that side. I'm going to have to move it and get a little white lithium first. I'll put the screw in there. A little white lithium. What I'm doing, just dabbing it with my finger. You guys can see, hopefully see me over here. And just run it in the track, the second one back. And then sliding over. And trying to get it lined up. I don't see as good as I used to, so that doesn't help either. Tell me that track's not going to be cooperative. Oh, there it goes. Okay, we got that one on there. That one's a little snugger than the rest so far, but I should be able to get it on there. So let's come around and see if we can get this one started. Again, it's going to be the exact same thing. We'll put the inner clamp first. Like that. This goes here. This will go from the top and then slide into it. Easier said than done sometimes. Hopefully my big head's not in the way. Very good. So now that clamp's started. And we'll start the screw again. Get that started. We can get the last clamp and then hopefully get the fairing going together. And we'll see what we got. Because one thing is, like I said, with this is Memphis shade style. You not only have up and down, but you have this goes in and out. So you loosen this and this slides forward and back to bring the fairing exactly where you need it. All right, let's see. Let's Maybe just a little bit looser. There we go. That gives us a little bit of play on that one. All right, we'll get the last one. And then once we get that on, then we're ready to see if we can pop the fairing in place, get the clamps lined up, and go from there. Gonna get a little white lithium grease on this. Put the screw over here so I don't mislay it, like I got a bad habit of doing. You know, that's part of old age, people. Just so you know, when you get older, you're gonna forget stuff. You put something down, and 2 seconds later you go to look for it, it'll be gone. And that's just all part of age. Age, and possibly, I noticed a lot of problems after I had my neck surgery that I was forgetting a lot, so I don't know if the anesthesia maybe had an effect on me. I don't know. All right, this one's even worse than the other one going back together. Come on. Let me get this lined up on the second notch. Yeah, that doesn't quite want to line up there. I don't want to have to space it with a piece of rubber, which is something else you can do. You can go around it with a piece of rubber. But see, this one, when I try to line this up, it's like the clamp is twisted a little bit. So it's contacting here before it's going into the slot. So let's see what we got here. If I go in from the bottom, maybe. Ah, okay. So we're going to have to do it that way. That should work. Okay. So we're going to put it on like this. Same thing. We're going to go in from the top this time with it. Let me get that clamp lined up. There we go. Nice. All right, so that's in. And that's about where it needs to be. So we'll get the screw started again. And once we get the screw started, the clamps will be in place. There we go. And that gets the clamps in place. Now, there we go right there. That's that. So now it can still move. You want to have that play. Up and down. Maybe a little bit looser. There we go. That should work. Put that right there. Very good. All right, so that's, now what it is that's in place. Now we can get the fairing, see how it fits on. And we'll see if we can line up the clamps when we slide the fairing into place. And we'll see where we're at. All right, put the wrench there. Go into the back. We want to try to contact the back ones first, the bottom ones. We can see down through the top here. Come on. All right, that's that one. Bring this up. That's that one. Get where we're at here. We're actually pretty close the way to go together. That's that side. Let me come around to the other side, and we'll see where we're at, positioning-wise. Oh, yeah. We don't like the sound of that. Come on. Back up. There we go. All right, so that's that. Now the idea is to get this clamp in place, get this spun so it fits up in to the notch. One. This one here. There we go. That's like that. All right, that's that. Let's pull this down. Lock this in place is what I want to do. It'll lock. Well, that didn't lock too good, I can tell you that. All right, in any case, that's that. Let's get the other side started. Like I said, nothing is tightened down yet, so the idea is to get everything into place. Slide this up. That's that one. Okay. Bring this clamp up a little bit. I'll show you guys an angle once I get everything locked in to where it really needs to be. Okay. And now you got to remember, nothing is tightened down yet. So come around this side. You can see how that fits in there. See how that's locked in to the trigger lock system. Around the other side. Show you the same thing. See how that's locked in. So now the idea is I have to get that snugged down. So what we'll do is we'll snug the clamps first so they don't move. I'll snug this one, then we'll pop the fairing back off and I'll snug that one. Okay. Get in shape here and we'll get the ball rolling. Alright, you guys still see? Yep, very good. Just want to make sure that's locked all the way in before we start tightening stuff down. Yeah, that's locked. Oh, it was locked. There we go. That's good now. See the other side here. Make sure we're locked into place before, like I said, we start snugging stuff down. We don't want to ride around with it loose because then it could fall the heck off, which we obviously don't want. Okay, yeah, that's locked. So first thing's going to be get some blue Loctite on these clamps. Because like I said, it is in place. I may end up cutting this notch a little bit deeper. Looks like it may need to be before we really get it so it can mount perfect, but I have everything out still to do that job. Okay, get some blue Loctite on here. First thing's the clamps. Now, we're going to get some into position here onto the bolt, the Allen head that goes in. One, some on that. Very good. So that's that. Now we'll run those two in. And we're going to put that on. And of course it's on the other side of the bike. So we're going to run those in first. That way these clamps don't move. And maybe bring you around, show you what we're doing here. See, come on, there we go. So put the blue Loctite in between to get on the Allen heads, and we're just going to run these in, snug them up. You don't have to kill them, you just got to be snug. And like I said, with the blue Loctite, that will definitely hold it in place, so it ain't gonna go nowhere. It's snug. As soon as they stop, I quit. So that's it. That's as far as it's going to go. Okay? And then this one here, I'm just going to run this in for now, just to snug it, as I do have to back it off to get the blue Loctite on. So now we'll go around the other side. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Pardon my camera work. Like I said, I am not a professional videographer. I just started making these. Usually I do step by step with photographs to show people how things are done. If you look at my other videos, you'll see the couple I just put up for the switchback site, from my switchback site. Drop of that. And from my touring site, I just popped 2 of the videos up for that, and I have so many freaking videos it isn't funny. All right. Get this run down. This one. Yeah, see, that way that blue Loctite runs down into the into the clamp threads, and that'll lock the thing in place so it won't move, which is what you want. I mean, obviously you don't want the thing vibrating and hitting a bad bump and then falling off at speed. Could cause you to have a wreck, you know, which obviously you don't want. Okay, that's snug. And we're going to go back up into this one here. Just going to snug the top one down so I can get some Loctite on it. So basically that's that. Now, it's the 4 for the bolts up in the fairing itself. So I got to get Loctite on those, the bottom ones and the top ones. I actually like the position. I think it's going to be about right. So I'm going to pop the fairing off now, and then we'll get some blue Loctite on those, get those snugged down, and I'll finish notching out that headlight bucket. So I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, getting the Loctite into these things is a little tricky. I don't want to take them completely off, but what I found is if I back this out all the way, I can get in and get it down in between the rubber here and let it run down into the screw itself. And I'll also put a little bit on the back side here and get it to go. We'll be in business. Really, not quite going to cut it. All right, let me come out a little more. I really don't want to take this all the way if I can help it. So we're going to go from this side and just let it run down in there. All right, that worked. That works. So you can do it from this side. Loosen this up before it's just about ready to come off, and then you can go ahead and get it to run in there. And again, it's the most forward position, which is where I have it. So now we'll do this one. Same thing, gonna back it off to just before it pops out, and just enough room to get the Loctite down. Whoop, well guess what? It came all the way the heck out anyway. So I guess we're going to put the Loctite on it that way. Just a drop on the end, because that's how we'll do the others. We just don't want to lose this bracket here, this piece, this aluminum piece. Okay. And there we go, as I suspected. So you go to the back. I want that all the way to the back. The washer I dropped. Don't want to lose that. And that goes there. And then we'll go this way. See if we can get that started. That start? Yes, it did. Again, all the way to the front. Frontmost position is where I'm at. That's that side. And we'll come around. We'll do the other side. I guess I'll do them both the same way. I yank it the rest of the way out. And we should be where we gotta be. All right, take these bars and turn it up like that. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Just position you over here. Same thing, so I guess I'll do the bottom one first, because that is still, so basically what I'm doing is sliding the lock nut area to the bottom, taking it all the way to the back, and then just backing that all the way out. So take it, put a drop of the blue Loctite, let it run down the threads, and then same thing, back into place, and we'll get that started, and then slide it forward as far as it can go. That's where we want it. There we go. That's as far as it'll go. And then we'll do the last one here, same thing. Loosen, slide the, it's basically, it's not a lock nut, it's a capture nut, which is in the bracket itself. So same thing, we're gonna put the blue Loctite on here, just a drop. Let it run down the side into the threads, and get that started there. And then again, all the way to the front. That's where we want it. And that's snug. All right, so everything's snug. Everything's good. Good. That's good. I think we got the Loctite on this side too, yes. Let's rotate this back. Make sure we got it in there. Yep, I can see it from here. Locked. Locked. Okay, so that's everything. That should be ready to go on the fairing. If I did it right, it should now just, I mean, it's snug, but it should pop right on. Because again, not supposed to be made for this bike. It's what they claim, but looks like we're making it work. So there it is right there. You can see the clamps are lined up nicely. We didn't move those. Everything's exactly where we need it to be. So let me take these off. Got Loctite all over them. I don't feel like getting it all over the new fairing. This is done. Pulled each bolt out, put Loctite in it. So it's ready to go. These have a little play. I guess because it's rubber mounted. And also you see here I notched that out even further. So let's see what we got here. See if we can get this in place. These things actually swivel, the bottom brackets. Easier said than done here. There we go. That's in there. And basically it's rubber mounted, so once you slide that down in and you lock those back, that should stay in place. And you should be good to go. Let's see this side over here. Push it back into the bracket better. There we go. And that is now in there. I may have to come just a little bit further on that, but that ain't going anywhere. Well, I think we're in shape. I think we're good. I just don't, like I said, these trigger locks are plastic, where the trigger locks on the Memphis Shade are actually made from aluminum. So, like I said, this is a copy of said. There we go. That's locked in now. Just want to make sure the top locks, you make sure they snap down into place. That way you don't lose a dang fairing. Like I said, you don't want to have an issue with it. All right, that's, come on. They had like rubber O-rings. I guess they had to add to their brackets. So, trying to get this to pop down better if I can. There we go. All right, I think that's on there. No, that's still popping up. I don't like the way that's not locking in. Technically, that should lock. Like the other side, snap right into place. Let's put it this way. It's snug enough that it shouldn't go anywhere. It's snugged up down into the brackets themselves. But again, this thing should come around and lock on it, but it's not quite doing what it's supposed to do. And again, I don't know if I can show you, but you see they added, this is the mounts, the rubber mounts, and you see right there they put like a rubber O-ring in between it. Why they did that, I'll never tell you. I don't know. But that's not quite locking. The other side locked right in. It was perfect. This side is just not, it's on, but it's not locking, which is kind of disconcerting, but I don't think, yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. You have wind pushing this way anyway, so it's pushing back. So it's not going to go anywhere. So it's just like I said, I would prefer if I actually can hear it snap into place. I may end up having to pull the O-rings. If I do, I will let you know exactly what I do for final adjustment. Again, I think this is right up against here, the screw. It's not touching it. You can see it has movement, but I may still come out just a little bit further. All right, in any case, that's the extent of the install. I guess I'm going to take it for a test ride now. Not sure I'll take you guys with me. Now that everything's done, all but the signals, and I still have the exhaust and the AC, the iron AC that I picked up, 2022 iron AC that'll fit right on. Can't do anything with that because they ended up having to order the gasket, the base gasket for it, because the AC I got, the base gasket's ripped, And evidently the dealerships don't keep them in stock. So they had to order it, and he said it'll be in this Saturday. $3.99 part. So go figure. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this will help you figure out how to put one of these on your custom. If you have a 08 similar with the screw in the bottom, you see how I had to notch it. Please hit like and subscribe. Again, it does help me with YouTube's analytics program. And I'll see you in the next video.